The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us. For your Wednesdays is where we do it. This is the safe place where our stories are told and met with compassion, love, understanding, and faith. This
All right, we are we're getting ready to be live. There we go.
Yeah, I needed that because I get a shit ton of messages, It's funny because I like, scan around on this app and, I've got nothing to prove or anything. And people are like, who are you? I'm like, oh God. I was going to an event and ran into these Army active duty guys and they started badgering me with all these questions. And I'm like, is this a stolen valor interview?
Hey, Whiskey.
You'd
be surprised how many times I've turned around from bullshit
Whiskey.
somebody and going into, hey, you know what? Were you with? What was your MOS?
I get it all the time. I had somebody on here actually about a year or so ago. They're like, "Oh, you weren't really in the military because you were in the National Guard," and I'm like, "Really? That's how petty we're being?" Like,
well, no, like my first MOS does not exist anymore. It's been split into two different MOSs. So when I say,
what was your first MOS?
14 Juliet.
Okay.
And then when I got out, I was a 14 X-ray.
Hey, Leanne.
Which is 14 immaterial. But the identifiers are like Tango 3. Those were my identifiers for that. And people get awfully butthurt trying to say, oh, it doesn't happen. It's not real.
These Army dogs that were in the airport, they said that they were just coming back from a parachute exercise, and they lost one of their soldiers. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, did he have kids? Yes, he had kids. Oh, I'd like to sign this book for their kids. I'd like to give you a book for them so they can know how much of a hero their father was. And he goes, it's not the right time, Tim. We were the riggers. So now they were under investigation.
Oh, hell.
Yeah. Like, oh, I understand.
Yeah, that's rough, bud.
Yeah.
Larry, I know I've probably asked you this before, but you look awfully fucking familiar, and your name is awfully fucking familiar.
Yeah, I've known Larry a long time.
No, your face looks awfully familiar.
Dude, you need to put a hat on. Your forehead's running away from your face, Badger.
You know what?
Why do you look, dude? Why do you think I keep the bandana and the hat on?
Hey, look, I've been running between 101 and 105 degree fever for the last.
What do you do, Whiskey?
So
I like when I get sick because then I lose weight though, and then I can fit in my uniform. You guys.
I mean, fair.
I haven't
Fair
eaten. I haven't eaten in 72 hours just simply because I can't eat. So
Oh, whiskey's coming in.
What?
Hey,
What?
Doc.
What? In?
Hey,
Wednesday.
I was asking y'all if I take laxative with holy water, does that mean I'm gonna have a religious movement?
Probably.
that's like asking if "Bless me, Father, for I have sinned" is the same as "I'm sorry, Daddy, I was naughty."
I mean, it's a legitimate question.
I
Is that
mean,
considered a religious movement? You know?
perhaps.
I mean, I guess you could consider it that whiskey.
Hey, Doc, you got any of
What's
those banana bags? I could really use a
I'm
couple.
fresh out, bud. I'm no longer in.
No, like I said, for the last 4 days, I've been running between 101 and 105 degree fever.
Oh,
Did you
dang.
get core temp checked?
I had my core temp checked last night. It was 3.9.
Noise.
And that was after 2 hours of me taking Tylenol.
That's rough,
2
dude.
hours of taking Tylenol?
2 hours after taking Tylenol.
Oh, okay. You should
Get
Oh,
some
question.
get some Pedialyte, Badger. Lots of it.
I've been
take
drinking
ibuprofen and
Pedialyte.
Tylenol. God damn.
I've got a.
Don't need money. Walk on water.
I mean, I'm just gonna start chugging holy water. Shit.
Take
Well,
laxative with me and tell me how it goes if you have like an evangelical moment or something.
You know what? I don't need to take laxatives. I already have the IBSD.
Oh, nice.
Well, before I knew there were other things other than laxatives that can make people have an urge to regurge. I was on my roommate's rack because I had the upper rack. So I was on the bottom rack because he was out of town, And this lady had the urge to regurge, and I really didn't know what that was or where it was coming from. I just felt a sensation all over my lower extremities all of a sudden. So I didn't know what was happening.
Disregard that invite, Josh. I was trying to follow you back.
That was a laxative, but I didn't know.
No, I think the one night that I found out about the urge to regurge, I had been drinking. I'd been in Mainz drinking for about 6 hours, 4-day weekend, and midnight you grab the doner kebab on your way back to the post, gets that last bus. Yeah, I woke up staring at my kebab the next morning.
How was that for you?
It wasn't fun.
Did,
I'll tell you.
did you just say Mainz?
Yeah,
As in Mainz Gotzenheim?
as in Mainz proper with Wiesbaden. I was stationed at Wackernheim. Holy barracks.
I was stationed in Mainz Gotzenheim at Lee Barracks.
When?
89 and 90.
Yeah, that would've been-
He joined the live catfish that Coffin everybody had. What was that last night?
I don't need to see your starfish, Cat.
but
I do.
Daddy, that's how you appreciate him.
It's a her, and I don't need to see her starfish.
Hey,
That's,
Sergeant Ham-
that's what my Great Dane does. He comes up and he gives me loves, and then he, tries to stick a starfish in my face. So I'll scratch his butt.
Sergeant Ham, I'm
On
just
that
checking to
note,
see if
I'm
you.
jumping down to the comments.
All right, whiskey.
Thank you, Whiskey, for the rose.
Thanks, whiskey.
Whiskey.
Come on, Loki does the same thing to you. I've seen it.
No, he does not actually. He puts his head on my chest, but does not with the starfish. So
So, where are you at tonight, Tim? Are you at home or?
Yes, I'm at home. I live in Lebanon, Pennsylvania now.
Oh wow!
So I escaped Alcatraz, meeting California, and I pay a lot less for the sun. And I'm very excited because I got that Voc Rehab to finally pretend like they're not paying me out of their own pocket and approve a program.
Sweet.
Oh, that's awesome. I did want to ask you about some of the outreach that you do, because I know you do a lot of outreach.
Oh, the phone just rings, man. And then all of a sudden I got to think about a weigh-ins coming up. You know what I mean? And that's kind of intense. I go, I've been very creative. I've always been creative. Go with the flow, like a lot of families don't have us bring any media in, which is fine,
Yeah.
And, then when you go to VA hospitals, it's very particular. In any kind of hospitals nowadays, it used to be like if the patient wanted a picture, and now I just say, hey, if they want a photo, if they have a camera, for themselves, but I have been able to bring a lot of love and positive energy into the families' lives for the ones that have been shared, because that got back directly to the family,
Right.
And get this, I got an internship at the VA for my social worker master's degree starting
that's
next
amazing,
fall.
dude. That's amazing.
Congratulations.
2 semesters left, you guys, and then hopefully I don't wear out my welcome during the internship, so I can meet you at the hatch and say, hey, motivator, we're not allowed to have formations, but can I escort you to your appointment and give you a good word? They said they need more males. Okay, they're all women. They said they need more males and more veteran social workers. So I'm
you
really
guys can
hoping-
hear me?
Hey, Nightmare, you need to turn the volume down on the computer, please.
But what questions do you have? I've been doing it for a super duper long time.
Yeah, no, I know that. That's what I was talking to Larry about that earlier. I was like, I don't want to have him get into his story again that's been all over everything, all over. You know what I mean? Because you've been in like every newspaper, everything.
Oh no, but like there's a lot of skirmishes that just
Thank you, sis.
This woman, this guy called me and he said, hey, my buddy's birthday, he's in Albuquerque, he's Air Force vet, and you're on his bucket list, but he's got cancer and he can't ride his motorcycle anymore. Are you coming through on your way to DC, for Rolling Thunder? And I'm like, I don't think so. I went across with Run for the Wall a few times in a vehicle, not as cool as it sounds. It's a big motorcycle thing. They pick up bikes all the way along, and they have a few routes up and down the like the 40, all the different routes across. And so my wife, I talked to my wife, Lorraine. She's an Army National Guard vet too, served in the early 80s, got called up for Grenada, was on the flight line ready to roll and stuff, and they didn't go that night. But we drove to Albuquerque and we surprised him, and I gave him a salute as he came into the American Legion for his birthday. Then I gave a big spill about not having regrets to his family, his parents, his wife, his children, the community that came to celebrate his birthday. And then he lived for 2 years longer, and people started to not think that he was really sick. And his wife called me, said, Tim, I'm in Texas now. He's about to pass away. I want you to know this before you see it on Facebook. And she said that what you had to say that day, I think, made him live longer, because he started doing things that I never knew he wanted to do. And then I surprised her in Dallas, Fort Worth at the cemetery, just in a suit and a tie, came out of the bushes and put my hand on her shoulder and said, Mrs. Robinson. And she just grabbed my hand. And then I said, Mrs. Robinson. And she looked up at me and just got very emotional. And the reason why I crept up on her like that, because I wanted to show her the strength that was behind her to be strong during that moment, So,
that's amazing.
And that's just, a little thought I'd share, because that's not really that well known. That's not really known. I mean, you won't read it anywhere necessarily.
Larry told me a story that you drove across country to sing the Marine Corps hymn to somebody.
Not quite across country. I flew. This woman said, Tim, my dad was found in his house on the floor. He was on the floor. He was severely dehydrated. We don't think he's going to make it out of the hospital. He retired in 1980 as a sergeant major. Can you go and see him in Missouri? So then
Well, that's where I'm at. I'm in Cape Girardeau.
Okay, and this was up near like the mountains kind of thing.
The Ozarks out that way.
Yes, yes. And I'm like, well, yeah, I kind of cringe when I get this phone call because they're not down the street.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what means do you have to help me get there? And she's like, well, I don't know. Look, see what flights are. So I split a flight with her and I paid for the rental car. And I went and I showed up in the hospital. And before I went in, I hollered like attention on deck and went dun dun dun, dun, you know, a little marching stuff. I said, officer for today is Lieutenant Numbnuts. Officer for tomorrow is Lieutenant Numbnuts. And then he goes, cut that shit off and get in here. Let's get with it. He didn't know what was going down. But then I walked in with my dress blues on, you know, like, and he goes, oh, it like hit him. And I told him because, you know, he was E9, right? Senior staff and seal. And I'm like, you know, I think we are like the balls in the tire kind of thing that helps it go around. The officer's always trying to change it, but we're the one that makes sure it goes around, you know? And so you guys, I was an admin guy in the Marine Corps that did legal work and a lot of range safety officer stuff. And what they liked about my crazy behind is, you know, always had enthusiasm, but like the plaques, they never just said, thank you for going above and beyond the call of duty. I got to know them on a personal level and I always personalize stuff.
Yeah. I think it said Skippy's list number 42 now applies to you. Skippy's list number 55 now applies to you.
I mean, you think about it though, and I was an E5, so realistically, I mean, the NCO is the backbone of every branch of the military. Yeah, it's your E5, your E4 corporals through E9s, and we are the backbone of every branch of the military. When shit goes sideways, we're the ones that clean it up and make stuff happen.
Oh yeah, I remember my NCO creed. They made it longer though. They redated it and made it longer. And,
so Marine, I got a question for you, bud. I know you're in the middle of a story, and if I don't,
no, it's done. It's done.
Did you hear about that World War II Omaha beach vet that's celebrating his 100? Or not?
No, but I hear like quite regularly, you know, like I've seen that pop up quite a few times for different vets, you know, like 104-year-old vet, 102-year-old. So yeah, I've seen it pop up. You know, and sometimes the families catch me or whoever, the friends, and it's like way late, you know, or it's not enough time. But yeah, I see those pop up from time to time.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think of the lady's name. I have her on Snap or on TikTok here. I'll forward her to you if you don't mind.
Do you know when the birthday is by chance?
Say again?
Do you know when the birthday is by chance?
May.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I'm slow.
Like end of May.
Oh, nice. At what state? Do you happen to know?
Iowa?
Oh.
I believe.
Badger,
Badger, send me that stuff because I might be able to make it up there.
Yeah, I'll send it to you too.
I'd appreciate it. I'll get a card to send to
I
her.
appreciate that. I'll say that I never in my wildest dreams thought this was going to blow up as quickly as it did and to be partnered with a radio station on top of it as quickly as I was. Like, this is just, it's exceeded my expectations. And all I wanted to do was have my friends in here and let everybody have an outlet and talk about their week or things like that. And it just kind of like, it went everywhere.
We know Rolling Thunder, right?
Yes.
Rolling Thunder, Vietnam vets started about 40 years ago. Yep. And it was about prison war missing action awareness. And they were lobbying in DC and the whole 9 yards. It really grew. Well, now the AMVETs are doing it because everyone thought it like stopped. But they've done it successfully. And
Thank you, Emo. Emo, you can come up.
And they got the Pentagon parking lot back. which is kind of the nostalgic part of it. You know, they roll out of the Pentagon parking lot. What's not only about POW my awareness now, it's also about Veteran 22. You know.
Well, and that Marine, that's kind of why I did this. So I lost an American civilian and my best friend in my first tour of duty. And both tours, I only lost those two guys.
Hey guys.
At home, I've lost 35 of my friends to becoming one of the 22. And I realized in doing things like this and talking to other vets, it got me out of my headspace and pulled me away from all that. And, you know, a lot of us, we just want to be heard. We want to feel like we're heard and other people understand us.
Yeah.
Just trust me, I'm not taking the 22 head meds the VA put me on.
Yeah, I'm not either. But with you speaking on it again, Sarge, I just saw a list from my unit that deployed to Iraq in 05, 06. We kind of look at all of those that were in our brigade, not just in our unit, but in our whole brigade. And our list up until the beginning of this year was 12. We're at 19 now.
That's awesome.
No, that's not. No, that's other 20.
Oh, never mind. Sorry, I thought you meant people that like you were finding. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
And, I just found out that one of our E5s that we had while we were in Iraq went to something overseas that had to deal with his niece in sports. And he got into it with a couple of guys, and security made him go to his room, his hotel room there. He did. And a few hours later, they were calling investigators and stuff to the motel room because the guys that he got in an argument with kicked his motel room door in and took him up to the top of the motel and chunked him.
Dude, no good.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, going back to the mental health thing, I tried to get off all of my meds, and I had done so successfully for about 6 weeks. And then my anxiety got so bad that I had to call my doctor, and I was like, I need something. Like, something has got to change. And I'm sure Joe remembers, and I think Larry, you might remember too. The one thing that was keeping my anxiety at bay was I was smoking, and it got to where I was smoking 24/7, and that's all I was doing.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that for sure.
I was smoking constantly, and it was destroying everything else in my life. And I was like, there's got to be something else. So.
Do you guys seem like does the VA change appointments a lot on you guys?
Yeah,
constantly.
Yeah, constantly.
Kind of. My VA has a different problem. I went and saw my neurologist for a known brain aneurysm, and they were like, well, your scans are good. You don't need to see me ever again. I was like, okay, you mean like in a year, right? No, never again. I'm like, brain aneurysms don't just go away on their own. So that's what I'm fighting with.
Yeah, I mean, it took me, oh God, like 12 years of fighting to get 100% P&T.
I finally got a little therapy session.
Yeah.
And after the first one, he gave me some things to do, you know, and then the next one he goes, hey, Tim, I think you have a form of adult ADHD. I'd like to give you this form of METH. I said, well,
Yeah.
I have two questions. I have two questions for you. Will my teeth fall out any quicker than they already are? And And will I lose any amendment rights? I'm just kind of curious. I'm not really a big guy with the golf uniform Novembers, but
Yeah.
you know, and he just looked at me, and I'm like, can't we have a
Hey,
few
country.
sessions first before we throw any drugs in the mix? Like, can I get a back massage first or something? I mean, what is the bonus you get? It just felt awkward to come back the next month, you guys. Okay, it felt very because I turned it down, right?
My last therapy appointment at the VA. Well, so there's two-parter, because for my last one for like the compensation, I wasn't thinking about the shirt that I was wearing.
Oh no.
It's a toaster
I
jumping
remember
into a
this story.
bathtub, and it says "Live, Laugh, Toast Your Bath." And she's like, "Dark sense of humor, check." I'm like, clearly. And then the one before that, though, my last actual appointment at the VA, I didn't see a therapist. I saw a nurse practitioner. And she goes, "Well, I can't tell you to go get your medical card, but you should go get your medical card." And I'm like, "No, I just don't want to do that."
So what I was gonna say. Shit. Give me a minute.
Well, and the guy goes, I got a new therapist, right? Because that was like the emergency room guy or whatever. And he goes, so are you by SEXUAL or whatever? I'm like, well, I don't know. I ran into a transsexual once outside of Camp Lejeune. Does that count? But I didn't know. We were at the dance hall, and the music stopped, and it said, "Marine, you're dancing with a dude." It was like a 6-foot guy with 38 double D. And it was kind of like the crying game, right? I ran home, and then I waited 2 weeks to go back, and I got like one of those horseshoe haircuts, so they wouldn't recognize me amongst a sea of Marines, right? This is just PFC talk, okay? So, but like, what I don't like about the therapist, though, he always got to come back with something and try to like make the sun shine about it all. Like, slow down, motivator. Because now that I'm learning social work, you guys, I'm learning some of that psychotherapy stuff, I can't even sit through happy hour without psychoanalyzing my bartender as he's rolling his eyes to get me a drink, because I stopped him in mid-flow because I want to make sure I get the happy hour price. But anyway.
Yeah, no, she's not in here right now, but Braddy has told me flat out, she goes, because she's going to be a therapist, she goes, "Dude, there's a lot we're going to have to unpack with you." And I'm like, I don't want to.
I could have told you that.
Hey, Joe, what is it you told me? I'm not allowed to psychoanalyze you?
I did tell you that. I tell everybody, if you want to be my friend, don't judge me by my meme collection all over Facebook, because that's some left field garbage just to stay out of my head.
Well, and I have a professor that's a SEXUAL therapist, my professor. And I'm like, I want to ask her, so you do this every day. Do you do this every way? Like, wherever you are you thinking, oh, he's a pervert? Like, what are you thinking? Like, it's interesting.
The funny thing is I just got done with a supplementary sexuality course.
You are, sis.
Because I'm studying trauma and sexuality. Those are the areas that I'm studying in psychology. And I just got done with a subsequent course on it. And it's funny because after taking that course, I look at people, I'm just like, yeah, no.
I didn't see that come in, so thank you. I thought I had that account blocked, honestly.
No, don't give my premonitions any value, please, because when she pulls the sweater over her like top side and I try to look away and I'm like, it's me, but I really wasn't looking, but I was kind of looking.
Oh, that happened in my sister's live last night. I was in her live, and this guy comes in and he goes, and she's got a tattoo like right here, and he's like, "Nice tattoo." She's like, "And thanks, I think."
So part of this great group is when you have outstanding resources, they're good to share them because it makes us all stronger.
That's
now, I've
fact.
supported a lot of charities, you guys, and what's heartbreaking is after you go raise a bunch of money for them, then you send people to them and they're like, "Oh, we're tapped out for this quarter. or this was not service related or whatever, right? They got 1,000,001 excuses.
I remember what I was going to say. So we were talking about our CMP exams and stuff like that. I put a claim in back in December for an increase, and it got to stage 5 in January, right? Normally by the time it's stage 5, we're going to get an answer soon. It hit are from the medicines that you've been taking. And I'm like, I don't want to fill out any more paperwork. Like, can someone just adult for me and do the paperwork for me?
So the Wounded Veterans Relief Fund, they're based out of Florida, and they do dental care and financial assistance. It's there, like that I can call her on the bat line kind of thing, you know.
That's cool.
So they're really solid. They're huge. They're growing, and they're doing a lot of good.
Okay, Badger.
So just letting you know. But I kind of came half cocked, I guess, because I should just ask Tammy, like, if I had a veteran from another state, can they go there and get the help? Right? That's
Yeah.
kind of like, because we're from all over the place. And sometimes if they can handle all the dental work, then it's worth the plane ticket.
Oh, for sure.
But I'll find that out though.
Because we all know, even at 100%, the VA dental is garbage.
This is why, so I pay for my own dental insurance, right? Because I'm not 100%, so I don't have dental through the VA. But I recently found out Delta offers a veteran dental plan. And they're like, oh, because you're a veteran, you get discount, right? Well, I pay for the premium dental plan, which I think is like $45 a month, maybe more. I'm not sure. But I found out that regular Delta for premium will pay 80% of a filling, but the veteran dental plan will only pay 70% of a filling. And I'm like, okay, no, you're not just giving us a discount because we're veterans. You're giving us a discount because you're giving us less dental coverage. Like, is this really worth it?
And it's a bigger tax write-off.
Yep.
Yeah. But so like
Unfortunately.
Because I've probably paid close to 10 grand for work on my mouth since November.
Yeah, and I remember you kind of might like be looking in the market, and I tried to get you this info over motivator.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just saying as positive as I can because I care about you.
I know.
Okay. Well, it's there. It's
I
there.
love-
And maybe you can help someone else. I'm just saying, motivator.
I know.
okay?
I love all of you guys. It's
And then I didn't see you for like 1,000,000 moons. So.
I know.
Well, that's what I was telling Larry. I was like, yeah, I wasn't alive with Tim, like, I don't know, last year sometime, but it's been like, I haven't seen him or whatever else, and he never followed me back.
It's funny because
What a cock. I mean, well, okay.
it's funny because like all of my friends that I talk to, like I would say regularly, they all kind of like run in the same inner circle. So like we're all friends, but we're all friends separate from knowing each other, right? Like Tim and I met each other, I don't even remember how, but we've known each other for forever. Larry and I have been friends basically since I've had TikTok, the same as Sarge and I, but like I don't think all of us, except for maybe Larry, have ever been alive with each other maybe once or twice. And so it's funny because it's like we all know each other hey, MBR, but like not because we know each other. We all know each other through being a vet or like through having similar stories, meeting other people.
Well, and that's what I was talking to MBR about today, is the fact that because we don't know what's happening with this app and everything else, it's still very up in the air. So over the next 4 months, we're going to get this geared up. So it's going to be I'm going to do this as a podcast weekly.
Well, I've got contact for MBR for Larry, I'm pretty sure. I've got your contact. I need to get your contact out of here. Yeah. I'm so proud of you that all this is kicking off. I'm so glad. It makes me so happy.
Okay, MBR.
So, Maureen, you were talking about the nonprofits and we're out of funds for this quarter and this, that, and other. One of the biggest supposed to have been nonprofit for veterans, and if somebody is in here that works for them, I really don't care.
It's StreamYard, Emo.
Okay.
And that is Wounded Warrior Project.
No. Dude, 5% of that money actually goes to the veterans. That's it.
Right. But see, here's the thing. They're no longer a nonprofit. They're for-profit. And they send everybody out to other organizations like Operation Homefront. So our AC went out in the house. Yeah, and I had spent a bunch of money to get little air conditioning units for the house, and was trying to figure out how to get our air conditioner replaced. And this was during the summer, and my wife has hydronitis, which is not a good thing. And I won't go into that one. It's kind of nasty.
My ex-husband had it.
Yeah, so I finally broke down and called them, and then they sent me over to Operation Homefront, which they had me get 2 quotes of getting it done. And one quote was the AC unit and new insulation up in the attic, because the insulation in the attic in this house was trash. And the other one did the same. But when they chose the other one that was a little bit cheaper, they didn't put the funding in for the insulation to be put in the attic. All they done was the funding for the new central heat and air unit. And then, I don't know, probably a week after it was done, and the company called me and said, hey, just wanted to let you know, we got a check from them. Your AC's been paid, and you're good to go. I said, well, I appreciate it. Well, I go to check my emails like I normally did back then, because I used to check my emails like every day. And I have
email, like overabundance of emails twitches me. I have to check them like constantly throughout the day.
Right. So I get an email from Operation Homefront that said if I ever want help from them again, that I had to fill out some paperwork, and I had to have a financial counselor to work with me for a year, or they wouldn't ever be able to help me again. And I'm like, look, if it hadn't have been for my wife getting sick and me having to buy her meds because the VA wasn't paying for them at the time because they didn't have them, and I had to fork out of pocket, which wiped our savings out. It was
I remember that.
It was around $6,000 for her first month of that medication. And it wiped it out. And that's the only reason why I needed help getting a new central heat and air unit, because the new central heat and air unit wasn't but I think $5,100.
Yeah.
And I explained that to them. But they thought that I was wasting money and blowing money by telling them that. And I sent them the paperwork where I had bought the medication I said, I'm not going through your financial counseling BS. If I ever need help again, I won't be coming to y'all.
So, by the way, Tim, I just want to say that Catfish is my manager for my agency.
Oh, before I forget, so I have a friend. His name is Dr. Kevin Cameron, and he is an Army veteran. I'm like 99% sure. And over Memorial Day, he's doing a free veteran like class to help transition to civilian and all that stuff. So if you guys go to his website and sign up, it's completely free. I shared this with him. Hopefully he'll come in and talk, and I can try and link all you guys up. But yeah, just more sharing resources.
Well, that's the thing now you can do too. I mean, now you can do.
Yeah.
Wait, and this is another thing, like, you know.
I'm going to add all of my veterans.
And the best thing about this is the fact that we're kind of everywhere all across the country.
Yeah.
So we all have resources from different areas that may be able to help other people in all different areas.
Well, and the funny thing is,
Like, and I told NBR about this. So if you're on Medicaid or Medicare, 100% disabled, you actually get Amazon Prime at a half price rate.
I will remember that for when Connor turns 18 and can have his own account.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that. But you know what I mean? $7 a month is better than $15 every month. You know, let's be honest. And you still get all the Prime membership stuff, like the next day shipping and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like state of Pennsylvania, they used to combine your income with your pension to see if you would be able to get your property taxes waived. And they changed that probably about a year ago. I don't see any commercials about it, but now they don't combine your income. They just take your income and not your pension. So a lot more people will be qualified for that now.
It made me so angry because like my boyfriend and I bought our house together, right? The same one I've been living in. We bought it for my ex-husband, and he's 100% P&T and I'm not. And so when we went to buy the house, he's the primary, and they were like, oh yeah, because he's 100, you're not going to have to pay property taxes, right? Nope, wrong. Because we use split entitlement and because we're not married, we only get, we don't get that. He doesn't have to pay his half of property tax, but it's bullshit because even if I was a veteran, but we were married, we could use his 100% to not pay property tax. I'm like, what difference does it make whether we're married or not? Like it made me angry.
It's because both of y'all's name is on the house.
I know,
So
but
that-
even if we were married and we use split entitlement, it wouldn't matter. We still wouldn't have to pay it. It's like stupid. They're trying to force marriage on us, and I'm not here for it because I'm never getting married again.
I can say this for Georgia, because I've lived in Georgia since 1982. We moved up from Tampa, Florida, up here.
Ybor City.
Yeah. Hey, do you remember Likes Brothers that was down there in Ybor City?
I just remember a psycho ass ex-wife that was from there. Okay, I never been there personally.
I went to high school in Fort Myers, and like when I turned 18, we were always up in Ybor.
I went to high school in 3 different states.
The meat processing plant that was there, Likes Brothers.
Whiskey.
My grandmother used to work for them. She retired from working for them, but we moved to Georgia in '82, and we had been in the stuff that when I enlisted the first time and got out due to a family emergency. After that, I haven't paid for a driver's license since 19. Thing that Georgia does is all veterans that are 100% can take and fill out a form at the tax office, and you can either use that tax form for your house or you can use that tax form for your vehicle ad valorem taxes.
Yeah.
Well, that's Missouri and Arkansas are both the same. You don't pay property tax whatsoever, only
Well,
sales
and that's
tax.
how
Right.
Virginia is, and that's cool, right? Except for the fact that
Welcome
because
back, Doc.
I don't mind that we're split entitlement. I'm mad that even if we were split entitlement, if we were married, we wouldn't have to pay it, but because we're not, we still do. Like, and that
Can you just say you're domestic partners?
we basically are. We've been
But
together for
but
frickin'
do
ever.
you guys have common law?
I think so. Virginia
Because
does.
because if Virginia has common law, then you can still use that. If you've lived together, you should be able to use it. If you've lived together, it's like 7 years.
Stupid. It's fine. We just when we in a couple of years when we refinance the house, he's gonna refinance it in just his name. And I'm not even worried about it. And everybody's like, oh, what if? And I'm like, listen, this man owns animals with me. He has bought a house with me. Like he's not going anywhere. You all have seen how he is. He's never leaving.
He's not going nowhere.
He's not going nowhere.
No, he ain't going nowhere for sure.
Why?
Yeah.
If he was gonna leave me, he'd have left by now.
Yeah, my in-laws just asked me that because my wife's liver's failing right now. It's been 4 months of like hell. And I go, Chuck, calm down. I can't leave your daughter. We have too many secrets. Right? To go to the grave, okay? Like it's just the way it is. And plus, my attorney didn't tell me this. She had all these cats. Now I'm on the hook. It's like a community property state, and we commingled funds. But I can never leave Lorraine also because the cats will never understand.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, that too.
7. We have 7, by the way.
My son is still mad at me because he has been asking for a cat for basically his whole life. And I'm like, I'm allergic to cats. I'm sorry. We can't have one. Like, you can get as mad about it as you want, but unless you have the money for a Sphinx, which are expensive, we're not getting a cat.
How old is he?
17.
17?
Yes.
And he wants a cat so he can leave it with you in a year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, because he'll probably be in high school until he's at least 20 because he's only in 10th grade. So I told him, I said, after you graduate high school, you can move in with your dad and you can own as many cats as you want.
Emo, I did not forget, by the way. I found the website to send you a camel spider.
Please don't. Please listen. I love my tarantulas, right? I love them. Please do not send me a camel spider because I've already almost lit my house on fire twice. All right. Let's not make it a third time.
So
I was just letting you know I found the website for it.
Well, I'm very
Hey,
happy.
Sarge, how much are they? You got that address?
I can get it.
I'm not ever giving you my address.
You
for
can send
nothing.
camel spiders to friends for fun.
I'll give you an address, but it won't be mine.
Hey, sis, welcome back.
Yeah.
Thanks for the follow.
So
I got you back.
someone sent me this picture. It's a tattoo of someone I think I know, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, okay.
And
Maybe.
it's on someone's stomach.
I didn't do anything,
think.
sis.
On a stomach?
Yeah. So
Where's the
whoever's
belly
looking up
button?
at me is looking up at me, I think.
Where's the belly
That's pretty
button?
cool, though. I mean,
Oh,
I
it's
mean, it
humbling.
is. It's a really nice tattoo.
Yeah,
Where's
it's
the
very
belly
humbling.
button so we can like get an orientation of like how it's laid out?
I don't know. Someone just got a tattoo of me. There are a few people actually, and I just had this photo sent to me, and it's just got some hair that looks like a stomach. I mean, I don't see a crack, so that's good.
I mean, it could be like under your arm. You know?
Possibly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very humbling, and it like raises the bar. Then I can't afford to mess up things like that. But yeah.
You never mess up things like that though.
What's that?
You never mess up things like that.
Oh, I messed up because I was singing the hymn for this guy. I'm like, we will fight. It's we fight. And I had like 20 emails. You don't even know the hymn? I'm like, okay, motivator. Did you Google it to find out the specific words and sit down with it? Do you know all 3 verses? I don't think so. who's your senior? I mean, whatever. So, I made a mistake. I am not
if your
perfect.
dress
It's
blue
okay.
still fit, absolutely be like, who's your senior? What's your address? What
Dude,
base are
my-
you at? And show up and be like, you want to do this? All right, let's go.
My dress uniform, there's no way that would fit me.
No, I upgraded, you guys. Okay, like I upgraded. Okay, but yeah. But then you have this old guy. He goes, "Hey, Marine," and he puts his finger in between my belt and the blouse. He goes, "You're little thick today," you know. I'm like,
My
go, "This is
peacoat
my
from
winter
boot camp
coat,
still
sir."
fits.
So, yeah,
I
cats.
can't fit in my dress greens anymore. And as far as my dress blues, I don't think that I could fasten them anymore either.
I don't
but
think
my
I could
dress
get any of my
greens
uniforms on if I tried.
I'm
were
just,
from first enlistment.
I
And I
dug
went-
this out just to show, like, I still have my Camelback from the first tour.
Nice.
There's probably a few cures in there.
Nah,
I've got
she's good to
uniform
go.
items that aren't even distributed anymore. Like I have a white scarf. I'm trying to think what else. I should have taken a blanket from boot camp.
Listen, the critters in that, we've all drank out of the Blivy bags that hang up in the field. So whatever critters are in there,
Did
trust
you
me, I've
see-
lived through worse drinking to this big ass Blivy
Did you see the meme on Facebook of the green plastic bottle that's like you can't smell a picture? And I'm like, I can smell it, I can taste it, I can feel the
You
the
mean- you mean a
numbers, I can
canteen?
feel the weight of
Hey,
it when
Rolf.
it's filled hanging from my belt.
That's a canteen, not a green plastic bottle. I'm just throwing that out there.
We have these big water buffaloes, we call them.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Like, and
drink out of a
they're
million
probably
of those.
from back in his time, but and then it says not potable, but we're still drinking out of it.
Oh yeah, we were drinking it.
Hey, Rolf,
Absolutely.
Rolf, come in a box. Rolf, come up here.
Rolf, you can come in.
So my favorite thing to tell Rolf is that he taught Noah how to sail.
That he did.
Yep. He's one of my favorite people.
Thank you, Hope. Thank you, sis. Well, for the
thank you,
most
Rolf.
part.
Thank you for Chantel. Hey, Rolf. You work
Rolf.
Nope, I'm at home.
at home?
How you doing, buddy?
I haven't seen you in forever.
I know.
Why are we not friends?
I don't know.
Well, we are now. I
You
just
know
had
what?
to add you. That was weird.
I don't know why him and I weren't friends either because we've been in lives together a lot.
I think TikTok is doing some. I don't know.
That's weird.
Rolf, tell us some stories of the beginning of time.
Oh, well, I knew the Dead Sea when it was only sick.
When they parted the Red Sea, were you on the left side or the right?
What?
I said, when they parted the Red Sea, were you on the left side or the right?
I was the one in the middle holding it apart.
Okay.
He helped Noah build the ark.
He did.
That's all right. I give Larry all kinds of hell too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the one that taught Moses
Hey, Beth.
in the infantry how to fight, so.
There you go.
Larry was there as part of the 300 under Leonidas.
That's why he mastered that staff.
Were you the one that found out about Achilles' heel?
Yep, sure enough.
Yep. I figured.
Well, I had a ruptured Achilles tendon once. That wasn't much
Ooh.
fun. At the beginning of COVID, the VA wouldn't do the surgery.
Yeah.
Then Rolling Thunder didn't happen, you guys. So I stood for 24 hours at my post with the motorcycle in front of me, live streamed it to represent the ride.
Oh, wow.
And my ankle looked a whole different shape the next day. And the cops rolled up. They're like, "Hey, Marine, you got a permit?" I'm like, "Hey, I know I'm Sergeant such and such." And then he rolled on. It was so funny. I go, hey, I'm not here to start anything. If anyone thinks it's their right to start some crap, I'm going to leave. That's not the purpose of this, you know.
I tore my meniscus back forever ago.
Yeah, don't be doing that no more.
And I delivered a lot of cannabis with my driving foot for Speedy Weedy with a ruptured Achilles tendon.
You don't do that anymore.
And I was able to fund my book.
Aw. I need to get one of those.
During COVID. Yep. Active. Our governor in California like shut us all down for the most part because I'm an Uber and Lyft guy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I found that alternative, fortunately. But he kept all the evening like clubs where people dance in them and bookstores open, but he closed everything else down. It's kind of
Hey, Brady.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's seems like a dual.
Do you want to come up?
Brady, you should come up and say hello.
Well, I had no purpose.
G may just stay in the comments.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, I saw she came in, but then it disappeared. So I don't know. I can never tell whether you're at work or at home, Ralph. So the multicolored sign means you're at home, but I've seen multicolored signs at work too. So, hey, hi, Brady. Thank heaven I'm not the only girl in here anymore.
Hey, Brady.
Hey, Brady.
Well, she's going to be all quiet
Look, we
tonight.
made an Oreo. We put Ralph in the middle.
That's
I'm not going there. That's too easy. I'm not going there.
Sorry, y'all had to put the little ones to bed first.
Totally.
It's been a day, so
You've had a rough couple days.
I have. It's been a rough fucking week, to be
Well,
honest.
It's almost Friday.
It is. It's almost Friday.
So, you know,
I mean,
we're getting there.
we're almost there.
So,
I gotta go get Michael tomorrow afternoon too, because he has Friday and Monday off. They took this kid's spring break, so they gave him like every other Monday off instead of giving them a spring break, and didn't tell any of the parents at the beginning of the year. They just started giving him random freaking Mondays off.
My kid's on spring break right now. He's with his dad. And funny enough, his dad called me like an hour ago to be like, I'm so sorry. I forgot that he had this therapy session that was supposed to be scheduled. That you told me about, that you talked to me on the phone like hours previously. And I was like, okay.
you know, speaking on spring break, so the chief of police, the sheriff's department, and the county commissioners have all gotten together down in Panama City at Panama City Beach, and
Down the hula?
starting next year, Panama City and Panama City Beach will not be supporting the spring breakers. They are shut down for the spring breakers because of the issues that happened down there this year.
I don't know what issues happened, but I hope your city is ready for that loss of revenue, because I know spring breakers.
It's not my city. It's not my city.
Well, no, it's not
what happened?
like that city, I guess.
What happened was the college spring breakers down there have done $3.4 million worth of damage to the motels and condos down there that they were renting.
Holy hell, that's a lot.
What did they do?
Destroyed them.
No, okay, clearly.
Clearly.
But like, how? I couldn't do that much damage if I tried.
Well, there's
thanks for the follow.
There's 7 or 8 hotels have 3 floors that are shut down now to have construction crews to go in and repair
That's
all the
insane.
damage.
There's
I've
not that
actually got a
much
friend that I
damage
went to
done
school
right.
with that her and her husband own a realty shop down there, and they also do condo rentals and house rentals for the beach. And they've got 3 houses that they have had to call their customers and tell their customers that were coming down that, I'm sorry, we have to cancel your reservation because we've got construction crews that are having to go in and fix the houses.
You could send a whole, like, I guess, ship full of Marines out somewhere, and they wouldn't do that much damage.
No, they wouldn't.
Maybe
So
each
that's
other.
what I don't understand. I don't understand. Like,
I mean, the 82nd Airborne went in and trashed a whole town in Italy during World War II because they went in and drank out all the booze and everything else on Liberty.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
wow.
Supposedly, it took them 6 days to clean the beaches up down there in Panama City.
See, that's
Litter
just
bugs, man.
insane.
Yeah.
I hate litter bugs.
I know down here we had, I can't even remember the big thing on the beach. Babe, what's the big concert at the beach they have? Something in the water. And they always leave it way better than people found it. But like, I don't understand how you could go on spring break as an adult, as a college person, and like, what? The only thing that I can think of
Thank you,
is
Brady.
when have you guys, what's that movie about the 3 guys that they get drunk and they forget where they are? Yes,
The Hangover.
The Hangover. Yes. I'm like, was
Love
everyone
those
a part
movies,
of
by
the
the way.
Hangover during spring break? Is that what happened? Like,
I love those movies. Mr. Chow all naked in the back of
Clerks 2 is a movie to see. I'm just letting you know.
Clerks 2 is amazing. I love Clerks. Anything with Jay and Silent, but Kevin Smith,
yes.
he's
Oh,
awesome,
so
dude.
We got to meet
My wife.
we got to meet Jason Mewes. My boyfriend and I went and met him. We got pictures with him, and he was absolutely hilarious and wonderful to meet. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sending everyone the hand hearts.
Thank you, Brady.
Very much.
But, you know, and it's like you said, Sarge, I was always taught if you go someplace like camping or what have you, always leave it better than it was when you got there.
Police your trash, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially
Like, all right, how many of us as lower enlisted have had to walk through, like, I'm just saying, in like basic AIT and pick up all the cigarette butts and stuff like that from the cadre and active duty and
I grew up in Navy
And
brat.
like my dad had
Yeah.
GI parties for us at the house. Like,
listen, when I
once
say
a week we were fucking cleaning the shit
What up,
out of the
heathen?
house.
people don't understand when I say we used to field day once a week, I don't just mean like scrubbing the walls and the baseboards. I mean pulling out the fridge, pulling out the stove, pulling out the dishwasher, like getting down on our
Yep.
hands and knees, like move out inspection, white glove freaking ready. Like I cannot stand clutter. Ugh.
So my grandpa on my mom's side was a DI during Vietnam.
Okay.
And I got in trouble one time. I must have been like, I don't know, 10 or 11.
Kitty.
And she had me go outside into the gravel driveway and make sure all the rocks were arranged from biggest to smallest through the entire driveway.
Yep.
Oh, jeez.
Yep. Yep.
There was there was always some sort of corrective training that I would have to do if I got in trouble.
Oh, me too.
No, I remember.
Stand there with phone books in a sitting position on a wall.
I remember when I was in high school. I was in 10th grade, and I don't remember exactly what I did, but I was sitting in ISS and my dad walked in his dress white, in his choker whites, because he had like an inspection or something, and he showed up and I started bawling my eyes out. I was like, I don't want to go. That was the scariest day of my life. My dad showed up at my school in his choker whites and I was petrified because like if he, Like I realized when I got to boot camp that I already knew how to stand at attention, even though I didn't know that that's what it was I had been doing my whole life. You know?
Oh, Brady, you know he's never more than 2 foot from me.
Big baby.
When your dog is standing on all fours and he's as tall as you sitting down, there's an issue there.
Come here.
Well, I wasn't a smoker, and I really did not enjoy picking up cigarette butts when we get on the line now move and go down the parking lots and things of that nature. And one day we had a fire alarm, and not everyone came out of their rooms for the fire alarm, right?
Uh-oh.
So I caught up with 2 E3s and an E4, and I said, meet me down at the duty hut at the end of this fire alarm. So they're in there waiting. They don't know who I am because I'm new. I'm in Okinawa, Japan. I'm like, okay, motivators, you didn't leave your rooms like you're supposed to, and there's a fire alarm. So you guys are going to conduct a police call according to your first general order. And so the corporal goes, well, I'm a corporal. I'm like, outstanding. It'll be a meritorious police call. Well, the corporal wasn't doing his thing. He was just walking around. So I go, okay, 2 Lance Corporals, you guys are done. The corporal will finish the meritorious police call. And then the next day he saw me with my rank on and he goes, what? You're a corporal too? I'm like, yeah. And I act like it, motivator. How about step up, you know? But anyway, so yeah. Outstanding.
I mean, I don't know if my dad's first duty station, mind you, my parents had me when they were young. So my dad's first duty station was Schofield Barracks, Hawaii. So I grew up there for a couple of years, and then we moved to Bragg, and I lived there for 8 years, 8 years. And we always lived on post. And is that a dog butt? Oh, kitties. I love kitties. But
it's okay.
So I always grew up with the, every time we left a on-post housing, living in on-post housing, the cleanliness, GI parties. My dad literally is in the dysfunctional veteran group on Facebook.
Me too.
And so am I. And my dad loves to tag me and shit. And there was one dude a couple weeks ago who had said, do y'all remember GI parties? And my dad's like, yep. And he added me and went, Rachel, remember when we used to do this once a week? And I'm like, yeah, I was 7. And we were like, I was on my hands and knees scrubbing and cleaning.
Oh, yeah, because when you move post to post, now, mind you, I didn't have to do this because I was in the Nasty Guard. But from what I've been told, you're absolutely going to have inspections before you move.
You have to. And I don't think Brady was, I don't know if you were in here or not when I was talking about, we used to field day every week. And we would pull out the fridge and the stove and we would white glove. And when I bought my house, white walls are one of the things that I hate the most. I despise a white wall.
Me too.
I am waiting to be able to paint these walls, and every week I'm like, it's going to be a different color. I'm like, it's going to be yellow. No, it's going to be purple. No, it's going to be gray. No, it's going to be teal. No, it's going to be something. And my boyfriend's like, I don't like painting. And I'm like, I don't care. I will pay someone else to paint my walls because I am not keeping my walls white. I cannot do it. I look at it and all I think is, you can't do this because you don't own the home, or because you live in military housing, or because you're moving in 3 years. And it's so weird. I've lived in this house for 10 years and I've still got boxes that haven't been unpacked. And I think it's like the military part of me knowing, like, just waiting to be like, well, I guess we're moving again, even though I know I'm not.
That happens to me
Yep.
all the time. When I move, I'm
Yes.
like, I'll be ready to move, and I'm like, move again, and I'm like, oh yeah, I don't have to pack this shit up. It's already packed. I don't know what's
Right?
in here.
Exactly.
I
And you're
haven't
like,
seen it in over a year, but it's ready to
you
go.
unpack your shit and you're like, I was looking for that 6 months ago. This is where it was.
Yep.
So I knew when I joined the military, when I joined the Army and I went active duty, my first thing was growing up an Army brat with my dad being active duty. I never wanted to live on post, ever. So I immediately, I found the most ghetto ass place right off post that only cost me $4.50 a month in rent. And you know what? Worth it, even though I had a bullet hole in my windshield. I had my rims stolen off my car. Worth it though.
Me and my
'cause I made some
ex-husband-
money on the side cleaning apartments, the apartments I lived in, and still worth it. I made so many friends and
me and my
just had
ex-husband,
cool ass experiences that I never experienced before. So
when we first got married, and I can't even believe that the ship allowed us to do this, but we were living in Norfolk, and we were in Section 8 housing. Like, I don't know how.
in Norfolk,
Why, yeah, I don't know why they
I
allowed
used to be at
us.
Fort Lee.
Huh?
I used to be at Fort Lee for a while.
So we lived off Little Creek, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why the ship allowed us to live in Section 8 housing, but they did. And we had a 2-bedroom apartment that was Section 8 housing, and it was $750 a month. It was 900 square feet. And I kid you not, like, you had to go out of the apartment building and walk down the street to go use coin-operated laundry. And it was more expensive than the laundromat. And I remember one 4th of July, I was like, I don't know, like 6 or 7 months pregnant, and people were shooting fireworks, and one of them hit our window. And I was so scared that it was going to come through the window and hit me. Oh, that was, yeah. But yeah, what I wouldn't give to pay $750 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment right now, like today. Like, I don't care that it was not
feel
only
ya.
900 square feet. Like, yes, I will pay that in a heartbeat. Like, every couple of weeks, I'm like, I gotta declutter. We got too much shit. Like, can we just, you ever feel like you just want to throw all your shit away and start over from nothing? So you don't have to clean it all. Like, if there's nothing in the house, you don't have to clean anything. You can just dust and vacuum and be done.
I have a little touch of the OCD.
Yep.
Kind of runs in the family. So I go through frequent, and I'm a single mom with 3 kids. And I'm going to have a 9-year-old and an 8-year-old. So,
Okay.
We acquire a lot of shit. And sometimes I'm like, no, I can't handle this. We got to throw it all away. The toys are insane.
Yeah.
I can't handle that. And I'm a big, we need to separate everything because my oldest is autistic. So he has a hard time with, if he can't find something, we don't need to go into a full-blown meltdown. So I separate everything: Legos, cars, trucks.
So we kind of have the opposite problem. My oldest, he wears night orthotics, right? Because he's got cerebral palsy, and he will specifically hide his night brace so that he doesn't have to wear it. Like, he'll put it in his closet and then put a bunch of clothes on top of it. And then when I go and look for it, he's like, "Oh, I don't know where it is."
He's like, "Mom, it's gone. I don't know."
He will. He'll be like, "It disappeared. I haven't seen it in months." And I'm like, "You were wearing it last night."
So my middle child, he is hard of hearing and has hearing aids, and he's a frequent I don't know where my hearing aids are. And I'm like, boy. And now he's recently into them. Like we just got him on them last August.
Okay.
And he'll be like, yeah, I don't know. The battery fell out. I don't know. And I'm like, bro, you got to wear them, okay? Like, I know you're sitting in class and you can't hear shit, okay?
So
we can't be hiding them. We can't be, and he'll just, you know.
My oldest has had glasses since he was like 9 months old. And when he was really little, he had plastic frames called Miraflex. And they had this little band that went, it connected to the back of his, like, the earpieces, right? And he would take his glasses off and throw them. And because they're plastic, when they would hit the ground, they wouldn't really make any noise. So we found this, basically like little connectors that would connect the band in the back of his glasses to the back of his shirt. And it took me a while, but I got to where when I was holding him, I would feel like his shirt like tug because he would try to like yank his glasses off. Oh, he finally stopped doing that. But we were, every 5 minutes, we were having to put the glasses back on his head. And it drove me crazy.
And you're like, sir, please keep them the fuck on your head. Please, for the love of God.
Yes. Like we would be driving and he would like smack the windows with them, or like we would be driving and a pair of glasses would throw up at the front, like from the back seat. And we'd be like, well, I guess we're not putting these back on right now. Okay, cool. Like, have your kids tried to unbuckle themselves yet? Because they're mad and they just take their seatbelt off.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
We were on our way back from physical therapy once, and my son got I don't even remember why he was mad at me. I think it was like I told him he couldn't have Starbucks. I don't even remember. But he got mad, and he, like, unbuckled his seatbelt. And I pulled that car right over on the side of the road, and I put my emergency flashers on, and I was like, let me tell you one thing right now. I was like, you will not ever do that again. Like, absolutely no. I would, oh man, I thought I was going to like, he drove me absolutely mad.
I feel it. Kids are fucking wild, and
they are.
Oh, love them, but you just want to be like, stop.
Oh yeah.
Why are you doing that?
He got mad at me the other night. He did. What was it? This was a couple of weeks ago. He got mad at me and he punched the bird cage. And I was like, that's not how we act. Like, we're not mean to animals, right? So I punched him and he texted me this whole big thing like, oh, I don't love you. And Dad's the only one that cared about me. And I don't want to be here. And how dare you? And this and this and that. And you're a horrible person and blah, blah, blah. And said some other choice words, and I was like, okay, all right, well, I guess I would rather.
Unfortunately, you're going to go through that with kids.
Oh, yes, I was the only one that cared about him, and blah, 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 and I'm so mean, and I'm like, okay, all right, kid, well, I would rather you use your words than, like, I don't know.
My 8-year-old daughter, she's notorious for, God, I hate to say it, but she is gonna be a me. As a teenager.
So is my daughter. She's a me.
Gets there, but she went the other day. She went. I can't remember what I was getting on her about, but she goes, "It's because you hate me. I hate you," and I'm like, "Hello, we're only." Not even quite 8 yet, and we should not be at this point yet. Like, calm the fuck down. Let's get our shit together.
Yeah.
We don't hate Mom. And she goes, well, Dad's mad at me too, and he did this, and I'm like, what did he do? And she goes, well, he took my tablet away, and I'm like, okay, well, Dad is being a dad, and you were being naughty, and that's just That's it. Well, I hate him too. And I'm like, you, whatever. You hate us? Okay. That's not how you really feel, but go pop off, girl. Like,
it's a constant conversation.
Well, look at what I just went through with my daughter.
It's a constant conversation of, okay, is this how you really feel, or are you just saying this because you're angry? Okay,
right.
Why are you angry? Like, I don't know, that kid. I love
My
him.
daughter had me drop everything, drive to Arkansas to get her, come back with tornadoes on the ground. And because she was moving in to, Dad, and this is Friday, get home Friday night. And she goes, Monday, she goes, oh yeah, by the way, Dad, I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm going back.
You are a lot nicer than me.
The door's
Okay,
right
well,
over there.
been there, done that with my dad too. Been there, done that with my dad too.
No.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have that things with my daughters. My oldest daughter, I hadn't spoke to her in 8 years because I wouldn't buy her a car on her 16th birthday.
Seriously?
Yeah. Yeah, she wanted me to buy her a car for her 16th birthday, and I told her, I said, look, I'm sorry, but I can't do that. Between you three and her three, we can't afford to buy 6 cars.
So
there just ain't no way. I said, I offered to sell you my truck and you refused. That's the reason why your sister has got it. And my middle daughter bought the truck for me, and she kept it for, I don't know, probably I want to say about a year. And she met her now husband and moved in with him and everything, and he had an extra car, so he gave her the car. So she brought the truck back to me. I said, well, do you want me to give you the money that you paid me on the truck back? She says, no. She said, I had the truck for a year. I made payments on it for a year, so just keep it. And then the wife's son, he needed a vehicle because everybody else had one by then. So I sold him the truck.
yeah.
And that I could do, but we couldn't afford to take and go out and buy each one of them a freaking vehicle.
So I remember when I turned 16 and I had my license, back, I turned 16 in 2001, and I had a job, and I saw this truck for sale that I really wanted. It was like I want to say like a 99, like it was either a Chevy, it was either a Sonoma or a C10, just a little tiny little mini truck, but it was like, they wanted like $1,000 for it. Right. And I was like, cool, I've got $1,000, like Goodyear, good, called, asked all the questions, title, everything, blah, blah, how many miles, this, that, the other, all these things. I really wanted it. And my dad was like, you don't have money for tax and title. And I was like, come on, like, can you not meet me halfway here? And he wouldn't do it. The next week, I saw another one. It was either a Sonoma or C10, low miles, Goodyear, clean record, went out, did A, B, C, D. And he was like, you don't have money for tax and title. I was so mad at him. And he ended up selling me my first car. It was a 91. Was it I can't ever remember if it was a 90 or a 91, but it was a Pontiac Sunbird convertible, right? And oh man, I was so mad at him for not giving me tax and title. But at the same time, looking back, like, I understand why he did it. You know what I mean?
Toyota Corolla Tercel.
My dad had an 86 Toyota Corolla that had do you remember the old seatbelts? One would come down from the roof, and the other one.
With this car, half the parts were Corolla, half the parts were Tercel. And it was a 5-speed manual.
So I'm not gonna lie. I love my dad. I am a daddy's girl, and so I turned 16 and got my driver's license in 2009. Okay. My dad had just come home from deployment. Okay.
Me too.
And so he drove this beat up 1994 Jeep Cherokee. Okay. Black Jeep Cherokee. And he decided to trade that in for the baby, which ended up being my baby too. Mango Tango, that's what we called her. The 2010 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon that he traded, or he went in and bought, and he gave me this old ass fucking Cherokee, right?
That's
Didn't
awesome.
have to buy it, didn't have to do nothing. Mind you, I'm the oldest, and my little sister is 7 years younger than I am.
Okay.
So she was a baby. Not a baby, but she's young at the time.
Yeah.
But my dad said, if you can get this bitch to start, because I live in Minnesota, it sat outside of our garage for 2 years. Okay. And he said, if you can get that bitch to start, you can have it. Now, one of my little boyfriends at the time, I made him come over after school with a battery charger. And this bitch started up right away. And I called my dad at work and I said, guess what? The Jeep started. And he goes,
that's awesome.
I guess you can have it then. And I'm like, okay, but you have to put insurance on it. Because I'm a child, basically. And he goes, I ain't paying for your gas. You have a job. Good luck.
Same. My dad was like, I'm not paying for your gas. I'm not paying for your insurance. And he was like, before you even step foot in the driver's seat, you're going to know how to check your oil. You're going to know how to change and rotate your tires. You're going to know how to
my dad was a mechanic,
spark
so
plugs.
I knew that already. But
so, yeah, he was basically like, if you break down on the side of the road, you're going to know how to take care of yourself. Now, funny story. He didn't tell me that the car he was giving me had a very slow oil leak and that I would have to put oil in it. So I was driving home from work one day and my car starts sputtering, stops. I get it off to the side of the road and I called my dad and I was like, hey, the car died. What do you mean it died? It died. Is there gas in it? Yeah. Is there oil in it? Why? Why would there not be oil in it? Well, because it has a slow leak. What do you mean it has a slow leak? No, when he got in the car, there was not a drop of oil in the car at all.
Oh no.
And I was like, well, that's one way to do an oil change. All right, cool. Thanks for not letting me know that I needed to add oil to the car, Dad. Come on.
My dad being a mechanic, also being an MP in the military and also an EMT and a firefighter, he would never let me get in a vehicle that was terrible. But he said, if you can get that bitch to start, you can have it. And I did. I got that bitch to start. Later, it started on fire on me.
Oh,
I was driving it up a hill and it overheated.
So
because, me at the time, I'm like 16. I don't know, And this bitch is overheating. I didn't see it. And all of a sudden, I smell something burning. And I see the heat gauge go way the fuck through the roof, right? And all of a sudden, I see a flame coming out through the literal, where the motor is, through. I'm like, and I pull over and I'm like, Dad. I call my dad and he's working 25 minutes away. And I'm like, Dad, the Jeep's on fire. And he's like, Rachel, pull over. I'm like, I'm already pulled over. And he goes, call the fucking fire department.
So that happened.
And I do, and the fire department comes out and I'm on this back road because I live in the fucking boonies.
Yeah.
And the fire department comes out and they have to put out this fire in my near my engine. It had something to do with the oil and it spilling over and something to do with the transfer case and I don't know, a bunch of shit. Can't even remember. But anyways, still drove that bitch for like 2 years after that. And after I got it fixed. And
2 stories. Sorry.
And my dad's like,
Thank you for the
I told
roses.
you it was a piece of shit.
So 2 stories. The first story, Dad told me I needed to change spark plugs in the car. I was like, okay, cool. Change spark plugs in the car. He didn't tell me that there was supposed to be a piece that holds the spark plugs up over the engine. And because that piece wasn't there, that I should zip tie them. And so I'm driving, and all of a sudden the car loses all oomph, right? Like, just won't go. And I'm like, what is happening with this fucking car? So I call my dad, and I was like, hey, Dad, the car isn't going. He's like, what do you mean it isn't going? I'm like, I stopped, and then when I went to go again, it didn't go. Like, there's gas, there's oil, everything is how it should be. And he's like, well, tell me what's going. I'm like, I'm revving, and it's like going all the way up, but it's not getting any power. And he's like, you changed spark plugs, didn't you? I'm like, yeah. He's like, that's on me. Open the hood. Okay, so I get out and I open the hood, and sure as shit, a wire is melted to the top of the fucking engine. I'm like, okay.
Oh no.
All right. So then this little car, man, let me tell you, it was, we called it the whore car because everybody drove it. It was also like, you had to go like down and up a hill right out of my house. So you would like, people would push it and then they would jump in. I don't know how, if you guys ever have seen the inside of a 91 Pontiac Sunbird soft top convertible, we got 9 people inside of my car at one point. I'm not sure how, but we did.
Put them in the trunk too.
We might have. I don't know. I don't remember. But then this was a couple of years ago.
Wow. Stop telling the secrets of how to get people into the drive-in movie theater.
A couple of years
We
later.
did that once going to from Bliss to TJ. We hopped in the trunk of the Tijuana taxi, went over the border.
I had a friend come over, and she mentioned that she just had to go to the mechanic and the car was acting funny. And her son came up, and I think he was like 6 at the time. And he rang the doorbell, and I said, "Hey, buddy, what are you doing? Where's your mom?" She goes, "She's at the car. It's smoking." And I'm like, "What? What do you mean it's smoking?" So we go out there, and her car has smoke like boiling up from the engine. And she goes and from the hood, and she opens the hood, and I immediately see flames. And I was like, "Back up!" And I grabbed the hood, and I slammed it down. And I was parked behind me in my driveway. And I had grabbed my truck and I pulled it in the garage, and I closed it, and I called the fire department, and I was like, run across the street to the neighbors and ask if they had a fire extinguisher, because I had just moved in and we had used mine, but it didn't put the flames out. Her car, I don't remember what part of the engine caught fire, but it started to melt through the firewall. And when I tell you it melted to my driveway, when they pulled it off of the driveway, when they went to tow it away, it pulled a chunk out of my driveway. Like, it's insane.
So something like that happened my second tour. I get a message because I was the SOG for Kabari Crossing, the border between Iraq and Kuwait.
Mm-hmm.
And my platoon sergeant goes, "Hey, Sergeant Ham, this vehicle needs to come back. It'll only do 25 miles an hour. And to Beering, that's a hike from K Crossing." So I'm like, all right. He's like, that's all that's wrong with it. It's got to come back because, it needs some stuff like transmission work and things like that. So I'm like, all right. He goes, send 2 guys back like 10 minutes before you guys leave and everything. And just, meet them on the way and then follow them back. So I did that. Talton calls me in the radio room and goes, "Sergeant Ham, this bitch done caught fire and the flames kissed me."
Oh no.
The whole Humvee burst into flames. He goes, "You're lucky I got my weapon out of there." I'm like, and this is why, stuff gets PMCS regularly and run and everything else.
Exactly.
The guys coming in to do shift change with us stopped and helped them get the fire out, but we were on the side of the road for about 6 hours waiting on a wrecker to come from Gearing.
Damn.
That's crazy.
I'm like all that and I almost killed my guys by doing what I was told.
Well, talking about first vehicles, my grandfather actually bought me my first vehicle and said, "This is the only one I'm buying for you. After that, you buy your own." It was a 1978 Plymouth Horizon hatch.
Oh, what a piece of shit.
Hey, I drove that car for 4 years before I had enough money saved up for what I wanted. And then by the time I got over there to get it, somebody else had showed up with cash money to pay for it before I got there. He said, "Now I got a truck back here. If you want it, I'll sell it to you for $500. So there's nothing wrong with it. It's just been sitting for a while." I'm like, okay, I can do that if it's worth it.
Dude, my buddy had so he had a beautiful Monte Carlo and he wrecked it. And he ended up getting a like an 82 Dodge Aries, right? The first time I rode with him, I just died laughing because there were no floor pans. So he had to drive with his feet on the gas and the fucking brake pedal. And I had to ride with my feet on the frame in the passenger seat. And we're watching we could Flintstone it all the way.
So I remember I was like 4 and we had just come back from overseas and we were driving somewhere and my parents, we had a Volkswagen Rabbit and we were driving on the highway and it caught on fire. Like the engine started burning and we had to get out and call the police and we had to get driven home. And everybody's like, "You ever ridden in the back of a police car?" I'm like, "More times than you would think, but not for the reasons." But I thought it was the coolest thing in the whole fucking.
Vehicles growing up. My first was a 1953 Ford F1.
Oh.
But now, my fourth vehicle, Rolf, was a $50,000 miles on that truck, and I couldn't get none of blowing it. I had oil that was blowing past the spark plugs through the threads of the spark plug.
Jesus Christ.
It leaked oil, but I couldn't get it to blow up, and vehicle.
And he was in like a fender bender and insurance was like, "We're not gonna like pay to fix it, right? Because it's so old and it's got all this stuff."
Finally, he was like, "Okay, whatever." Like, just kept it around, turned it in. And
Okay.
When I was little, I never saw him fill up on gas because the thing had amazing gas mileage for a truck. And so I had come up with this theory in my head that it didn't need gas because I never saw it put gas in it. And it was, do you remember? And they'd put seatbelts in it. And it was the coolest thing in the world.
Well,
Hey, Ralph, I'm gonna give you a real trash car. But the thing is my oldest sister, my dad gave her this car for her 16th birthday, and it was his car that he had for God knows how long. But it was a 1974 Gremlin.
Nothing wrong with him.
Okay, can I interrupt real quick? The saluting Marine. I mean, I want to get to know you. I know I just joined the live not that long ago, but you're new to the live to me, anyways. So,
My name is Tim.
is it?
Yeah.
It
Yes,
really
I checked
is.
it
His name
was.
is Tim.
I was the junior class president. People wore stickers, don't be dim, vote for Tim.
Oh my
Everyone knew me. Everyone knew me as the fox, the silver fox. I was a mascot in high school, you guys. So if that adds up a little bit with all the enthusiasm.
But
Yeah, no, I get it.
The
You're a high-speed motivator for sure, Tim.
The two things to know about Tim is number one, he's a badass. Number two, he's a crayon eater.
Oh, I knew
And-
he was a crayon eater.
And you know, I'm known just for a salute, basically one little tiny thing in the world. And that's with your right hand, and I'm left-handed. I didn't even use
There
this.
you go.
I mean,
Yeah, but that one little tiny thing you did blew up exponentially, and it spanned years and years.
Yes.
Well, to be honest
literally,
with you,
I know about you. I mean, I've heard of you. I
Oh,
just want to know you.
Yeah, and you know, actually, you're my friends. I can't lie to you. I don't even use this hand. I use my thighs. There's a lot more meat down there.
Oh my God,
You just
terrible.
push it, and the inertia of gravity, anti-real rotational devices, or something like that. I need
That's
to
why he's
copyright
always
that,
sitting
though.
down when we see him.
So, I had a vet, you guys. My first car was a vet. It lived in the pasture in my uncle's property. It had a bale of hay in the back. It was called a Chevette, but it had a zebra tag on it, so it wasn't street like. So, the heat always stayed on. The bale of hay was to give me more traction in the snow, and I'm driving it to school, you guys. And we live in a small town. I'm from Oregon. And I grew up on a farm with strawberries, Christmas trees, and grass seed. So I know how many people can pile out of a vehicle, you guys. Okay, like I saw that times a gazillion. And so I'm driving to school. I'm in a school zone. I'm speeding. I don't have a license. It's zebra tagged. I got no insurance. So because everyone picked strawberries for my grandpa in this small little town, he just gave me like this warning that was like 3 pages long. So I get to school, and my best buddy that went to the Marine Corps with, his name is Nathan. He goes, "Hey, I got a ticket today for not stopping before the tracks with the stop sign to stop again at the tracks. Just a little stop sign." I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I got this big warning for driving without a license, no insurance, zebra tag, speeding in a school zone." But anyway, I joined the Marine Corps in '94 and got out in 2010.
All right, bet.
What's that?
I said, all right, bet. Perfect. Now I know.
I
you're-
joined the Guard
you're
in
living up
02
your
and got
lore.
out in 14.
I joined in 06 and got out in 08.
Okay.
I brought 5 friends in with me. They all still write me. They didn't write me off, but they got out after 4.
Rolf joined in like 36 and got out in like 46.
Rolf joined in like 27 and got out in
Yeah,
like
Rolf, you're new to
87
me too.
BC.
Well, He'd heard that the Pearl Harbor was going to happen because they all knew it, so he took leave that day, right?
Noah warned him the earth was gonna flood, so he dug a hole and just like buried himself for a couple of weeks.
Oh my lord. Okay.
Hey, I know where the tallest trees are at. I can climb.
Oh man.
So, hey, you guys, here's
My
something to
first
thrill.
round was 80.
That Rudisill bill. Have you guys ever heard of it?
No.
The what?
Well, if you paid in the Montgomery GI Bill before the post 9/11 bill existed, you have multiple periods of service. Supreme Court came out with the law since we paid $1,200 out of our paycheck for the first year for this, that you get 12 additional months of
Wait, what?
educational benefits.
12?
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yes, you have to apply for it.
Okay, send me that info.
Yeah, definitely send me that.
Yes, I would definitely like an additional 12 months for my GI Bill, please, because I did pay the $1,200 kicker, and yeah, that would,
So
that
did
would be
I.
awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. It took about 4 months, of course, but and so when I finally got accepted for the Voc Rehab program, Brady, I'm pursuing a master's degree in social work, and I'm really excited because the VA,
Awesome.
they're going to bring me in for an internship for next fall. So,
oh, cool.
But I ran out of the post 9/11 GI Bill. I ran out of that because I got a degree in business. And so
What it is.
because I
Well,
ran
yeah.
out of that, you guys, the Voc Rehab couldn't pay me the housing allowance. If I had 1 day of the post 9/11, they said that they could have given me that fat, nice, juicy housing allowance, right?
Well, the other thing is too, if you go out of say that and the post 9/11, you can also get into the Yellow Ribbon program, and it's a program for veterans to go to college for free. It's a grant, and you still can use the Yellow Ribbon program when your GI Bill and all that stuff runs up.
So see, this is what
But I'm doing chapter 33 right now.
veteran education and readiness, or
Yes.
veteran.
I had to give up my chapter 33 for my post 9/11.
See, that's
I'm a
bullshit.
psychology
They made
major
me
with
give
a
mine
minor
up.
in corrections, by the way.
Nice. I got
Well,
turned off by psychology like
this-
in 1998 when all of a sudden I got to put people in a box when you diagnose them because I don't think people can fit in a box. You know, there's so many
Oh,
variables.
I agree. I agree.
Well,
Wholeheartedly agree.
You just got to get a
Patty,
really
if
big
you
box.
ever want to talk mental illness, I'm your girl. So they wrote a book about me. It's called the DSM-5. The Marine's like, yeah, that's emo.
Well, I don't know.
Well,
there's
clearly, I
some,
have a lot to unpack.
there's some edible chapters in there. I don't know, but
Yeah.
anyways,
Some edible chapters. I love
So,
that.
Edible chapters.
Since we're going to be on the GI Bill here for a second, just to let everybody
1 +
know,
1 is 2.
if you've got the 9/11 GI Bill and you don't use it within the 5 years of the allotted time frame that they give you to use it, it automatically transfers over to your kids.
You're talking about? Are you talking about the Montgomery or the
Yes.
Post?
Nope.
It does
The
not.
post 9/11
does not.
bill. Bill. It does because both of my oldest kids used my
That
GI
can,
Bill.
that
to go
can
to
happen, but you have to send in paperwork for that to happen.
And I can argue the fact that both of my kids
They-
are developmentally delayed, and like James will never go to college. Connor doesn't want to, but James mentally can never go to college. So if they gave him the GI Bill, that would be a waste of a lot of money.
Wait, Emo, you seen some of these kids that are in college now?
I mean,
Your
fair.
kid would pass easy.
I mean, that's fair.
Right.
You're fucking asshole. Stop.
look, I'm going to
Sorry,
social
not
work
y'all.
master's degree.
No, we are assholes. It's fine.
Talking to my cat. Sorry.
I mean, you're in a group full of veterans. You're correct. We are all assholes.
Yeah,
Except-
Mike, you can come up for a couple. I'm about to end this in about 12 minutes, so 13 minutes.
Well, Marine was fixing to say something, so
Sorry,
let him.
Tim.
I don't know. Fatal Attraction. Remember that movie?
You're so cute.
Yes.
They only paid that chick $500,000, and they paid that guy like $7 million. for
Yep.
that one.
Yep. Yep.
Inequality.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Inequality.
Can I tell y'all something right quick?
Mike, you doing that tonight?
Yes, sir. I'd like to tell y'all something right quick.
1 + 1 is 2.
Well, yeah, that's too. But on a serious note, I was never in a service. I was a firefighter. That service. I wanted to tell y'all this from the bottom of my heart, and I wanted y'all to hear it from a civilian. The service y'all provided for this country is not forgotten, and it's not in vain. Every single one of y'all are loved and needed. And the very dotted line that you signed without knowing me or my family and were willing to lay your life down for me and my family means something to me. And I carry that and I live for that. And I mean, I like the aspect of America first, but my pecking order is vets first and America, because without you guys, there is no America. And that's a fact.
That's awesome. And I just have to say, if you ever need a painter, if you ever need a realtor, if you ever need a mechanic, go find a veteran that is one of those things. And that's how you thank people for their service, is by saying, hey, I'm going to put my trust in you. You know,
Yes.
We're going to serve each other.
Support veteran small businesses.
Like, because that's
Also,
what I
my,
tell people.
my dad was a firefighter too, so I get that.
Oh,
I
and I'm
mean,
not
you
saying,
put
I
your
mean, you're
life on the line
serving too. Don't get me wrong. You know,
Oh,
your
absolutely.
service. Yeah. Sorry.
As a mom that has 2 special needs and one with severe epilepsy, my firefighters know me and my kids by our first names. So thank you for your service as well, because yeah,
absolutely. I don't know any firefighters or their hoses or anything like that, but I just I learned. Anyway, whatever. Okay.
Oh my God.
That one left real quick, Tim.
Wow. You didn't even blush. Like,
No, but
Mike,
like,
we support that red line too.
No, I always just tell people when they think we're our service, I'm like, outstanding motivator, but you can thank me by putting an event to work. You can show it and quit doing this check in the box click phrase that makes everyone feel good when no one's getting saved.
well, and so also let me just say that support but verify, right? And I say this because I recently had my crawl space encapsulated, and originally we were going to use our foundation solution. But when they came out, and I don't know if you guys know about crawl spaces under house, I'm guessing all of you know what it is. But
Yep. For the
there's
body.
yeah, exactly. There's a hole that, you can crawl under and you get to the crawl space. You can check out under the house and all that stuff. Well, this company had come out, and I was all excited to support them because they're veteran owned, and the guy that came out was a veteran, and we talked. But they told me that they would have to tear up my bathroom floor to encapsulate my crawl space, but then they weren't responsible for repairing my bathroom. And I was like, wait, hold on. Why do you need to tear up my bathroom to do the crawl space, right? So I went with another company, and it just kind of made me a little weary. So yes, support veterans and support veteran-owned small businesses, but also verify, make sure that you're not just, throwing your hand to whoever just because they say they're a veteran. Make sure that you're getting quality work.
That part.
Yes. And that's the hard thing, Sarge, is, because I put my name out there a lot for people. I don't vet them to death. Oh, you got an OTH? Well, you made a mistake.
With you on that one.
People in their, it just a hypocritical society. They don't rate. It should be closed.
Let me just say this, Mike. Generally, I keep these boxes open for veterans and veterans only. I only let you in because this is about to end.
Yeah.
But I use this platform on Wednesdays. Any other time of the week, if I'm live, anybody else can come in. But Wednesdays only is for veterans and veterans only. Like I said, it's about to end. That's why I brought you up. But generally, I don't let civilians in the boxes. And it's no offense to you or anybody else, but I'm all about giving, vets a voice.
I respect that, and normally I wouldn't. I kind of picked that up already, but my main reason of wanting to come up here was simply just to let every single one of y'all know that y'all have support here.
I appreciate that, but I'm going to tell you right now, and especially with most of us, we actually hate being thanked for our service.
I know y'all do.
Like, I can't stand it personally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Makes me feel fucking
will
weird.
say
Like
how the saluting Marine was mentioning that once we get our DD 214, we're looked down on. And I know that Brady can understand me when I say this. Like, as a female, when I go to the VA, I hate how many people ask me where my husband is, or
Where
they
your
talk to
husband
me
is.
like I'm
Yep.
just the spouse and not the veteran, and it's
It's
like,
disgusting.
I hate it.
It's really disgusting, that
It
fact.
really is.
I always just side on the other side. When in doubt, whip it out kind of thing,
I mean, if I could throw a titty out there, I would, but I think I would be frowned upon bringing my kids
really?
to the doctor
Just-
and throwing a
hey,
titty out, be like,
listen.
I am.
Maybe we can get a baby alive doll, and then we can just, pretend that we have to feed him, and then there you go.
I swear to God.
It's like, I can see this happening.
Well, I can't have anything happen at the VA in my internship because there's a lot of felines there. Now, when I go in for long-term care, I'm like shaving, I'm putting cologne on, like I'm not just sitting in the bed with a Dilaudid and my friend Oxy. It's just kind of like, anyway.
I feel that.
Yeah.
That worked.
But Mike, as the daughter of y'all go through a lot too, and it's my dad's been a
Okay, so it's
firefighter
not
my whole life
Department of
too.
Defense, but it's still service.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had to
The
throw
Coast
the
Guard's
towel
not
in.
Department of Defense, and they still get full service.
I had to throw the towel in on being a firefighter though, because after Katrina hit, where I live at where I lived at on the West Bank of New Orleans, when everybody started coming home, we started getting more medical calls dealing with GSWs and kids, and I just dude, every time I was responding, and I was seeing my 2.5-year-old son every time. And it just started.
Mike, you're all right with me as long as you're not one of those guys that, I would have joined, but I'd have punched a GI in the face.
No,
Okay,
well, actually, I
guys.
did. I went to MEPS. I passed the ASVAB with flying colors. I went to the physical. They said I had a class 5 back. My lower vertebrae didn't fuse in my tailbone, so I couldn't get in. But of course, that was during a peacetime, so the entry standards are a lot stricter during time of peace than they are during time of conflict.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but I tried. I really wanted to. In fact, my favorite author, who I did book reports in high school, was Richard Marcinko, and I mean, he made me want to become a SEAL.
That's cool.
Doc said no, so that was it.
Dude, I went to MEPS and basic training on a broken ankle. I cut my cast off because I never told him.
Wow. Well, unfortunately, they didn't do that for me.
That's basically your life motto, Sarge. As long as you don't tell
Showed
them,
my
you get away
butthole,
with
and
it.
that was it.
Listen, leave me alone.
Hey, you brought it up.
Well,
The U.S. military, the only job that you'll ever have where you have to show an elderly old man your butthole to fucking
right?
be able to join.
Well, Mike, there's inter-service transfers, and like we were looking at the SEAL thing, and if you wash out, you're swapping decks for the rest of your life. but I don't think I can cut it because I can't keep that red ball balanced on my nose for very long.
You didn't want to
That part.
rainwater off
That
a ship
part.
in the middle of the ocean and in the middle of a thunderstorm?
Oh, I'm amphibious. I'm amphibious. I'm storm
What's the matter,
between
Tim? You don't like sushi that much either?
Oh, please. That's why my roommate's rack on the bottom rack, because I can't get him up to the top rack. Well, there happened to be some DNA left behind on the pillowcase that I couldn't get out. Okay. It was of the red persuasion, because he'd go down to Mexico every weekend and he wouldn't, like, he'd lock his locker, but I could just go ching and it was unsecured. Gear Drift is a gift, my friend. I wears nice polo shirts. This is like 95, right?
Drift is a gift. I haven't heard that in so long.
There you go.
Tim, you're my new favorite person. For real.
Tim really is pretty amazing.
Yeah, Tim's
Don't
awesome.
disown me if I fall over at Rolling to remember this here in DC, where I hold my little salute with my left hand. I mean, my right hand. But anyway.
Dude, I'm just saying.
I'd find a rock to crawl under because I found what crawled under the rock from under the rock one night in 29 Palms.
But you could always go back in here. I'm just saying you would get some shit.
If that happened, we would find you, we would find the rock, and we would mock
Yep.
you relentlessly.
Oh, for sure.
We would make it.
Hey, sorry.
We would be like, we're going on a road trip. We got to find Tim. We got to find the rock. Nate,
If you show up unannounced, my hands might be busy at the moment, but I'm just.
And look, Larry held the commandments, so Larry's used to finding rocks.
You
Okay.
said you didn't use your hands, you used your like the news reporter that was on the Zoom call doing something naughty, you know? Like, now it's in your head, though. Like, can you get away with it? I don't know.
Tim,
You know?
you said you didn't use your hands, you used your thighs.
I know. There's so much
So
more.
unless your hands
I
are
got
like
small
hitting-
hands, but and it kind of gets, you know, and gets a cramp. But
I have abnormally large hands.
I have decently sized hands.
my meat.
My
is
my
big
wedding
enough for
ring
my
size
meat.
is a 25 millimeters an inch.
Oh wow.
I mean, I don't know. So maybe
I-
we'll
yeah,
learn more
look,
about
look,
this Brad
no,
next time.
I literally have
Well, just
abnormally
listen.
large hands.
You can use your thighs and you can use your hands to knit yourself a blanket. So when you're under the rock, you won't get too cold.
And you have to cut your nails if you do that push in between the thigh movement. I'm just telling you. Long nails don't
There you
work.
go.
Okay.
All right, guys. I have to wrap it up because
Ricky
I've been live
Lawnmower
for 2 hours on the radio station. So we're gonna wrap this up. I thank everybody for coming through, and I will see everybody next week.
All right.
Right on.
Ludi Marine,
Bye.
thank you for coming in as well.
Hey, Marine, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. Thanks, Rolf, Emo. Thanks everybody for coming in. Brady,
Yep.
I appreciate you guys more than you could imagine. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.